Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to NoDQ&A video right here on NoDQ.com, as well as the YouTube channel and NoDQ&A videos affiliate, ringsidenews.com. A lot to talk about. The live Smackdown just ended. I have to say, Raw was a much better show. I know a lot of you will be asking me about that. Got your questions regarding Smackdown. Smackdown still had its moments, and I will get to some of those moments right now. First one today comes from Ben W. Murray. What do you think about Dolph Ziggler facing Dean Ambrose? Long overdue. Was it the right move? What about AJ taking the pin? I was totally shocked by this. Dolph Ziggler was just about the last person I expected to win this match. Does it make sense? Not really. It's pretty random. It's almost as random as Zack Ryder winning the match at WrestleMania for the IC title, although this is for the world title, and this is leading to a SummerSlam main event, although I really wonder if Ziggler and Ambrose will go on last at SummerSlam. That remains to be seen. The problem here, the big problem that's obvious, is that Dolph Ziggler has really been irrelevant for the past year and a half now, really since the end of that Authority storyline coming off the 2014 Survivor Series. That was the last time Dolph Ziggler really had any momentum in the company. He's been fighting Baron Corbin on the pre-show for seemingly months now, and all of a sudden he's in the main event at SummerSlam for the WWE title. I guess it does support the idea that anything can happen in WWE and anybody can win on any given night, and I do like that. I do like the unpredictability. You know, I'm always talking about WWE being too predictable and they should change things up. So I'm not going to complain too much because I like the fact that we saw something completely unexpected, something out of left field. I will give WWE credit for that. I just don't know if that's really going to be a great main event. I mean, I think Ziggler will be more motivated. I think it'll be a very solid match, and maybe with some solid mic work between the two of them. I mean, it's interesting. Ziggler's a face, Dean Ambrose a face. I guess you have to build some tension between the two of those guys, and if WWE can pull that off, and with the mic work back and forth, maybe this match can mean something at SummerSlam. I mean, look at Heath Slater, for example. He came out there. He has been treated like a joke for years now, and he cut the best promo of his career. And for the first time, he felt like he could be taken seriously. So, once again, with some good writing and good promo work and some motivation from Ziggler, this might turn out to be all right in the end. Time will tell if Ziggler wins the title. Right now, if I had to make a prediction, I would say not a chance in hell. But I wasn't expecting him to win this match in the first place. As far as AJ taking the pin, that also surprised me. I'm not sure why AJ had to take the pin here. He already took the pin at Battleground. I expected AJ to win this match. I thought either him or Bray Wyatt would definitely win that match. So that was definitely surprising, and I'm not really sure what's next for AJ. I'm guessing a match with Cena, and hopefully AJ wins that match. If he loses that match, then I really don't know what WWE is doing with AJ at this point. So it is what it is. Ziggler's got the shot. We'll see if WWE makes the most out of it. This one comes from Andrew. What do you think of the idea of Kevin Nash being Ziggler's bodyguard? In a recent interview, Kevin Nash brought up the idea of being Diesel again. Instead of being the bodyguard for Shawn Michaels, this time he would be the bodyguard for Dolph Ziggler. Before SmackDown, I thought that this was absolutely a ridiculous idea. But now, I think that it might actually work. It might add some credibility to the match at SummerSlam. Let Ziggler turn heel and have Kevin Nash be his bodyguard. I mean, to me, that's not the worst idea in the world right now if Ziggler's going to get this WWE title push. You could even have Nash come out and tease being the bodyguard for either person. Maybe Nash could tease being the bodyguard for Dean Ambrose. You know, something similar to like SummerSlam 92 when Ric Flair and Mr. Perfect said they were going to be in somebody's corner at SummerSlam and they could do that big tease. You could do something like that with Kevin Nash. That's just an idea I'm throwing out there. So yeah, I mean, now that Ziggler's in the WWE title match, I mean, I think it's a fairly decent idea. This one comes from D. Robinson. Does SmackDown lack star power? Yeah, that was one very notable thing when watching SmackDown this week compared to Raw. SmackDown definitely has the inferior roster, and WWE is taking note of that and bringing in some people. We have Shelton Benjamin confirmed to be coming back. Rhino made his return on SmackDown to gore Heath Slater. And we might see a few more past stars. I mean, you know, there's been all the talk about the past stars returning, and when nobody showed up for the draft, everyone was disappointed, and I told people just give it a little bit of time. And, you know, sure enough, we have Shelton coming back, Rhino's back, maybe MVP's coming back, who knows? So we'll see what happens. But yeah, hopefully in the next couple months, we'll see a few more NXT guys get called up as well. With American Alpha debuting next week, things should pick up. And hopefully SmackDown will be alright in the end. This one comes from XX Panda Boy. Hey Aaron, do you think SmackDown should bring back the Big Fist stage set and the blue referee shirts? Well, it's a bit late for that now since SmackDown has already re-debuted as a live show under the brand extension. I think it was a missed opportunity to have the Big Fist. I mean, fans have been praising that set. Many fans would say that was the best SmackDown set. It would have been cool to have had the Big Fist return in some fashion, maybe even a digitized version of it or something, anything. Maybe even the fist on the side of the stage. WWE could have brought that back and had a little bit of nostalgia for SmackDown, but they chose not to do that. And blue referee shirts, I mean, that's a nice touch, I guess, but not really that necessary. You know, overall, I did like the fact that they had a different stage for SmackDown, and the announcers are at ringside for SmackDown. So they did have a few differences, and to me, that was enough. Maybe they could have done a little bit more, but I felt it was fine for what it was. This one comes from Maurice. Do you think the pay-per-views going past 11 p.m. Eastern is a good thing or a bad thing? I mentioned this in the previous video. I think it's becoming overkill. I do not mind a little bit of extra pay-per-view time, especially if you have a stacked show and you need the time. But when you have 3.5 pushing to 4 hours and you have filler on the show, then I'm not really a fan of it at all. I think that WWE needs to have that available if sometimes you have a situation where the show is running late and a segment goes on for too long and you need the extra time. That's one thing, but I think WWE making a habit out of it is going to just continue to cause fans to be burned out more and more by the WWE product, and I don't think that's a good thing. I mean, I think you want to have a good amount of content, but at the same time, you really don't want to oversaturate it. This one comes from Nathan. Hey Aaron, what are your biggest pet peeves in wrestling matches? Too many near falls these days, and speaking of SmackDown this week, everyone kicking out of the AA. I mean, I guess people are defending it by saying they're signature moves, not finishing moves. I think it's getting ridiculous now that everyone's kicking out of the AA and people are kicking out of finishers way too often. I'm all for near falls in matches, but you know, it comes to a point where it's no longer a near fall when you know it's coming. It's no longer a cliffhanger, and I think that there's no drama because you know these guys are going to kick out of the big moves, and that's one reason why I would argue for doing more squash matches and letting guys win with various other moves besides their finisher, establish other moves. So then when the big matches come, you can have people kicking out of those moves, but then the finisher actually gets the job done. Just my opinion. And JBL is my biggest pet peeve, but that's commentary. That's a whole other thing. All right, this one comes from Alistair Louise. What do you think about John Cena pinning AJ Styles at Battleground? Who do you think will win their match at SummerSlam? I was surprised about John Cena pinning AJ. I felt it would have been better if Anderson and Gallows took the fall, quite frankly, but I guess the idea is that Cena had to get his win back, and you know that's the WWE mentality. Why AJ lost at SmackDown as well, I don't know. And as far as them having another match at SummerSlam, that has not been confirmed, but that's almost surely going to happen. I would be shocked if it didn't happen at SummerSlam. And as far as who will win that match, I mean, to me, AJ Styles has to win, especially after losing at Battleground. I think AJ Styles needs a strong win at one of the biggest shows of the year. And Cena winning will just repeat the same thing that we saw with Kevin Owens, where Owens won the first match and then would lose the next series to John Cena. I really hope AJ wins. I think that could really elevate him and make him a bigger star than ever to beat John Cena at SummerSlam. This one comes from Beast Slayer. If Sasha Banks wins the title at SummerSlam, should she hold it until WrestleMania and lose to Bayley? This question was sent in before Raw, so I'll just go ahead and answer this question regarding the WrestleMania part. I could see Sasha holding on to it until WrestleMania. I think that would be a very reasonable thing to do. Let Sasha have a good lengthy run as champion, build up Bayley, and maybe turn Sasha heel later this year, and then have Bayley challenge Sasha for the title at WrestleMania and win the title from Sasha at next year's WrestleMania. To me, that would be the most solid storytelling here, and that way you can build up Bayley as the next superstar and have her get her moment at WrestleMania. Since WWE failed to do Sasha Banks getting her moment at WrestleMania, and she got it now, you can have Bayley get the WrestleMania moment next year. This one comes from Kay. Okay. I've never attempted a please answer in video before. How would you book Nikki's return? That's interesting. I would definitely not build her up as some sort of big surprise. I think if she had showed up at Battleground, people would have been disappointed. Just let her show up randomly. Let her show up on Raw or SmackDown. At this point, it's looking like it'll be SmackDown with all the diva-like characters like Eva Marie being on SmackDown and Natalya and Alexa Bliss and Naomi. So I think it's more likely Nikki will end up on SmackDown and just let her show up and do her thing. And, she'll continue to do what she's been doing and maybe push her to the top on SmackDown. And then eventually you could even do an interpromotional match, have Nikki go up against, whether it's Sasha Banks or Bayley, go up against the top Raw female competitor and do a big match there. This one comes from Dave Lesnar. Hey Aaron, have WWE never valued Kane as a big star? It just seems like they gave up on him after 2003, 2004, and then briefly after 2010. They've always valued Kane as a big star. He's never been the guy. He's never been the guy that the company built itself around, but he has consistently been one of the company's top stars. And yes, every now and then Kane got lost in the shuffle a little bit and became somewhat of a comedy character, but he always had a high profile in WWE. Before he took off the mask, he was doing the stuff with RVD, and 2006, 2007, he was the ECW champion for a while, and he was teaming up with Big Show. He was still a big factor on WWE television. So yeah, WWE has always valued him as a big star. They just were never going to push him as one of the top 3 or 4 guys in the company. That's just the way WWE saw him. He wasn't going to be like The Rock or Stone Cold. He wasn't going to be the number 1 guy in the company. This one comes from Jamie Clark. How are Lesnar and Orton going to build up hype for their SummerSlam showdown now that they can no longer be featured on the same show? Definitely an interesting question. I guess they'll just do a series of promos on each other, and you could have Paul Heyman show up on SmackDown to confront Randy Orton. Who knows what's going on with Randy Orton? I mean, his comeback match on SmackDown was very bizarre. He had no tan. He appeared to have hurt his shoulder again early in the match and was selling his arm. So, I'm concerned about Orton's condition for SummerSlam if he's going to be in tip-top shape for the match with Lesnar. Lesnar is going to be fine. WWE will not be punishing Lesnar. But to answer your question about the build, I guess with a series of video packages and promos on each show, maybe it's better to keep the 2 of them apart until SummerSlam. So then fans actually have to tune in to see the 2 of them finally go face-to-face. This one comes from Beast Slayer. Randy Orton bringing up Brock Lesnar's PED situation. Was that a shoot? No, that was definitely part of the show, and there's no way Randy Orton would have done that and risked getting himself in trouble. And some out there might feel that, well, Randy Orton can get away with it. He would never do something like that. I mean, that would be totally unprofessional to do something like that and make a comment like that. You know, it was something that was written into the script to get that kind of reaction, get everyone going, oh. So then, you know, people want to see the match now, and people are going to think Brock Lesnar's really pissed off, and he's going to want to destroy Randy Orton. So to me, it was a very effective thing to do, and, you know, not everyone will get that reference either. So, you know, the people that know will know, and I think that made it very effective. This one comes from Braden. Is this going to be a new jumpstart for Orton? I really hope so. I mean, I would not be shocked if Randy Orton won the match at SummerSlam, although since WWE's not punishing Brock Lesnar, maybe they will continue to invest in him. It's really a big question mark, because prior to Lesnar's drug test failure, I thought for sure that Lesnar was going to win at SummerSlam, but now I'm not so sure. Maybe Randy Orton will win the match at SummerSlam, and that will be the way that WWE punishes Brock Lesnar instead of suspending him or fining him or whatever. That'll wrap it up for this edition of NoDQ&A video. Thanks as always for watching. Keep your questions coming in. I will have another video coming up later this week with more of your questions answered from Raw, SmackDown, and Battleground. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest. It has been a very busy week in the world of WWE. NoDQ.com has got all the latest news and rumors. And on that note, I will see you guys next time for more.